Hey guys, Sam back with you here. Final coin of the day, per member's request, it's Ethereum to the US dollar on GDAX. You see here, I've got the 4-hour up. Now I'm going all the way back here just to get some perspective. I'm going all the way back to the mid-July low here in 2017. And we are operating on the premise that we have a one wave put in. We've completed a 5-wave structure and we're into a 1-2. Now take note, I've got this in log scale. All right, so if I take it out of log scale, you can see why. So that's just harder to get the definition here. So if we go to log scale, then you can see it, but visually, right, you get the compression up on the top. So we worked from that. So just so you can see it here. So here's, if I put the wave on this, you can see what I'm implying here based on what I'm seeing and what I think makes sense here. So you can see we get a 1, 2, 3, 4. We complete the 5-wave structure here. We complete it, giving us a 1 wave. Then the next retracement. So on the assumption that we've completed that 5-wave and we're now pulling for a 2, you can see here in red, that's the 50% of that entire move. Now, again, I'm in log scale, so to your eye, it looks like it's compressed up here, but it's spot on. So we have the median line, we get right to the 50s, you know, just technically perfect. So let me pull this off here because that's just going to confuse things, and I'll make it easier for you to see it. But the median lines here seem to be playing pretty influential role in the market's geometry. So I'm going to go from a 4-hour, we'll go down to the 1-hour. Now this is a trade that we're in the room, and you can see why. If you watch my videos, you know this is pretty standard fare here. So we come right to the golden pocket. So here's that 2, right? So here's the 50, here's the 2. We get this big A, B, even though we get what I see here is a truncated fifth because of the 3-wave structure of that. So even though we do get a new high, we get an expanded flat down. So there's the A, big B takes out the 5 high, right? I know it's not terribly unusual. So it's a push to get a new trend started, but it rolls over, and pretty dramatically at that. So there's the ABC with the expansion in the B, come down hard all the way to the 50 right here. What are we expecting now? We're looking for a 1-2 to take us out of this. So what are we looking for in the 2? Well, we do get it's tight, but there's a 5-wave in there with a little ending squiggle. So it was an ending diagonal. Pardon me. A leading diagonal here, but within that 5-wave structure, we end with an ending diagonal. So we do have a completed 1 wave there. All right, so a diagonal in the 1, then we get an A, B, C. We come down right to the golden pocket. Boom, right in, they dip their toe in, and now we pulled out of that. So you can see why we took the trade, right? So pretty standard. I've shown it 100 times. I love this trade. So we're going to front run a little bit in front of the 618, stop on the other side of the 786 because that would be the extreme for a wave 2. Now, certainly they can go lower than that, but that's the place where I want to be out. So this risk reward here is 8.7 to 1. I'll take that all day long. So what have I got here? Now, in addition to that, I have a golden corner pocket trade. So my pivot being right into the golden zone, I put a pitchfork on that. Now I've got the corner pocket trade. So I've got a golden corner pocket, which I am seriously considering trademarking that. So here's my little golden pocket right here, golden corner pocket. Now, I have statistically 80% odds now. If those pivots are going to hold, that's the big if, of making the median line. At some point here, 80% odds that I get to the median line. Now, that's, again, strong emphasis here on the assumption that these pivots hold, right? If we do this, then golden pocket fails, right? But if these are the pivots, from this low here, I get a 1-2, 80% odds we make the median line. And you can see here, now there's kind of a time component which is why I like pitchforks, right? So it looked like we might have been heading here. There's the algo target from this 618, right? So the algo's bought it here. That's their target. Well, we're not going straight. Looks like we're folding over here. So, maybe we have to go to a modifier. We shall see. So let me take that off. So we at least we have this target up here, right? So there's the negative 100, and as I've shown in several videos now, the negative 100 is going to be very close to the high probability zone for a third if I take the length of the 1, project it from my 2 low, right? You see it's right on top of it. There's the 1618. So that's my target zone here. That's my target zone. For the third, if we're going to see this third develop, right? Then we have the larger algo target here, the big one. So if I pull back out, right? So the big one in green here, that's from this 50. So I've got my near-term algo target, and then I've got my long-term, and then here's the negative 618, which would be a real extreme for that. So I've got good targets up here. Now, 1, 2. Well, it looks like perhaps I've got another 1, 2. It's hard to say. We'll have to dig in there and look at it. So if I pull into this, I can see, so I'm going to take this off since we've got those marked, and I know I've got my golden corner pocket here. Now, what am I looking for? I mean, I'm operating on the assumption that I've got a 1, 2 in. So right off the bat here, I'm a little concerned because if I've got a 1, 2, well, I can't have a diagonal. So what's the alternative? Well, I may have a diagonal here of my one wave. So it would look like this. So we may well be seeing a 1, 2, 3. We get a little ABC into a 4, but we overlap the 1. So that would suggest that potentially what we have here is a leading diagonal to put in the one wave going into my third. Here's my target up here. Would that make sense? Yeah, that could make sense. That could certainly play, not violate any Elliott rules. I still have my target up here, the median line. I've got my 1618 of the larger degree here in, let me go up a degree, of the larger degree here in blue. So I've got that target there. All right, so I'm not going to get there straight. So now, since I've got a diagonal here, now what am I going to do? I'm going to pull from the low here up to the 3 high, looking for the 4 to stay between the 50 and the 618. We go right in between. Right in between, we get a reaction. So can we get up here? Can we get up here and get in the 5th? There's the algo target right there. Does that look like that could make sense as a one wave? So do you see what that would be? So it would look like this. Here's our target up here. I'm going to move this over. So this would give us potentially a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's change the color so you can see it, and we'll go to a different degree. We'll go to minuet. Okay. So do you see here? So we're looking for the 5th to complete here to give us a one wave on the assumption, let me put the wave on it so it makes sense so you can visually understand what I'm trying to suggest, that I'm going to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to my target up here. Now, you say, well, what about the median line? I thought you had 80% odds. Well, so it looks like we might have to go to a modifier here. So let's go to the shift and see what that looks like. Well, that's going to change my target. So maybe what we end up with here is we hit the median line here. Let's leave that. So you can see from here I've already hit the median line. The 3 hits it, right? So, you know, are we reacting off of that? Possibly. I mean, that could very well be while we hit the 3 here and we roll over. We get this nice ABC here. One more push up to tap the median line again. Now we might come down here, look for the lower parallel to offer additional support for a second. We know that a second, now again, I'm hypothesizing here. If I get my first up here, look where the second comes in. Right on the lower parallel, right at the 618. Now, that's where you got to decide. So is that potentially, since we bought it here off of the golden corner pocket and the 618, is that a place to add? Or assuming if we get up here, do we want to just take some profit here? If we're going to get that, and we don't know that we are, but it certainly is set up that we could. If we're going to get that, do we want to take, that's the trader's choice. You got to decide, do I want to take profit there knowing that likely I'm going to give back, you know, a good percentage of it as we retrace on the assumption that we're putting in a 2 to go for a 3. So what I will often suggest is you take a partial. Take a partial profit there. You want to leave a little bit. You know that you're going to give some of that profit back on the retracement into the 2. Okay, so it's just an internal retracement. If we get this 5 waves, it's going to correct. Likely going to correct. So we get a 1, 2. So maybe that's a reload here. So you add again. Now you've already banked some profit. So you reload here. So you're a little more confident knowing that you're playing with some house money here. Now I've got a target up here for a 3rd. If I get the 3rd, well then I got to make that the same decision again. Maybe I take another partial knowing that likely the 4th is coming. You see that? So we have these targets up here. So it just becomes a question of money management. You know, or do you want to take full profit there and say, well, I don't know if it's going to get up there, Sam. Maybe it gets there, maybe it doesn't. I've got a nice profit here. I want to put that in my pocket. Yeah, it's always what a high-class problem to have. So, is this all rolling over here? Maybe we have to, reevaluate the geometry. Maybe if we go 1, 2, we put another pitchfork on it. Right? These are all the questions, again, these are high-class problems. Right? So where are my targets? Where's the geometry of the market? What are the algos doing? Where are they? Well, they've been spot on so far. So note what had just happened here. We had a golden pocket right here, 1618, 165, and then we had a second one here. Again. You think algos are in? Yeah, algos are in. Okay, so and the first, it started with them buying the 50 here. So again, they're just buying it here with this as their target here. We're trying to weave in and around them. Now, I'm not saying there's only one algorithm here. God knows how many algorithms are in the market. But there's a series of traders that have written code to buy the 50s to the 618. They will continue to do that, and they'll continue to add until they get to their target. If they don't get the target, right, if it rolls over, right, as I've shown this before, if it rolls over, well, they're going to continue to defend it all the way down, those that bought it here, all the way down to the 618. They'll continue to defend, looking for that target eventually to get up here. Right, there's their target up here. You see that? So, you're going to have different series and different levels of algorithmic activity here based on what's happening all the way down to the tick chart, to the 1 minute. It's happening on multiple degrees. All right, I would tell you, that algos will typically go from the 15-minute to the 1 hour to the 4 hour to the daily. So that's the progression that you'll see me making here. So again, I'm just trying to weave in an Elliott wave count around what I know that they're likely doing. You see, so can I get a 1, 2 here, and maybe they revisit this again? Maybe this is them defending here a second time, because they are not trading an Elliott wave count. That's us trying to ski in behind their wake, just trying to find a way to get in and not have to take this enormous risk here that they can afford to take. We're not trying. We want to be much more precise about it. So can I get in here with we already got in once. So I mean, you can make the case here that the move now is to bring your stop to break even. Why have any risk? Now you got a free trade in the market. If you stopped out, break even. If you hit your target, beautiful. What I'm suggesting is there's going to be opportunities here to take a partial reload, maybe again partial, right? Because it's waves within waves within waves, right? So maybe this would be the 3 here of the larger degree here in blue. Again, partial. Here's the 50. Here's the median line. Reload. Ultimate target. I don't know. Maybe that's just the one way. But look, maybe this is the larger degree. So if I pull this out, you see where we are. Remember when we started, we were just, here's a 1 wave. Right? So this is a 1, 2. So we're in here fussing around with what could be just the 1 wave of the larger 3 wave. Do you see that? You see what I'm talking about? So if I go back out again, we may very well, let me go to the 4 hour. We may, we're in here now when you put it in scale and you say, oh, where are we? We did have this bad tick, which is annoying. But if I go all the way out here, there's a 1, 2. We got a 3 up here. We got a 3, 4, 5. Well, this could all just be part of the 1 wave of the 3rd wave. You see, so that's why you're trying to get in here, and then you got to think to yourself, wait a minute, let me pull out a little bit, because what is my larger degree target? Maybe I don't want to bank everything here. Maybe I don't want to fuss around with these little ones. That's so you can look at this here. Remember, as I've shown you, the 50 and the negative 100 will be the Elliott count here. So if I take the length of the 1 projected from the 2, the 1618 will be very, very close to the negative 100. So you know that that's sitting up here. So as a potential for the 3rd, right? We know that they often, almost always, will sit right on top of each other. So if I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I think about fussing around in here, big targets. You start pulling that risk reward. If I can get it hot, let me see if I can get it. I may not be able to. Yeah, there we go. So there's that. Now I'm at, what have I got there if I open that up? Can I even see it? Because I don't think I can see it because I pulled that down. Well, let's just do it again. So let's look at it. So if we're in here and I've got an upside here, let me open it up. So the larger degree right here. And way stops here. There's 25 at 24.6 to 1. That, you know, is it worth fussing around in here to try and get yourself positioned to be there for that, for 25 to 1? You know, I think that's a pretty rhetorical question, right? So if you're a trader, hell yeah. So I can have this even tighter. There's 35.8 to 1, just on the other side of the 786. Do you want to try and get a piece of that? I know I do. I already got a piece of it. Now I'm just trying to ride it. So there's the larger degree target, right? So that's the the challenge in crypto. Where do you take profit? Right? You know, because you can sit here and think to yourself, wow, man, that could really go that high. Maybe I'll just consider myself a holder. Well, that's not what I'm suggesting, because we don't know if that it gets there. This is just a potential roadmap. This thing may hit here and then just roll over, and now you're underwater. So, which is why I suggest move the stop to break even, free trade. So you've got now, 45 to 1. You got a 45 to 1. That's 60 to 1 free trade right there. 60 to 1. Where else do you get those odds? Okay, guys, I'll wrap it there.